bring that. Don't bring
the question
it up,
was,
please.
could you be the greatest
We're
of all
already
time?
started.
Could you be the greatest of all time? And of course, you can't be the greatest of all time.
You can, but that's a
It's
topic for another
ridiculous.
day.
That's
What
coming
do you
from
mean?
that's coming from a young man. That's like doesn't know any better.
Do you not think you're the greatest of all time?
You can't be the greatest of all time.
Are you the greatest of all time?
Of what?
One
I
can't.
don't know.
One
The gym?
can't be. It doesn't matter what line of country you're in, as they say down south.
So we've gone already off topic, but we've not even started yet.
Well,
Right,
bye.
right. So welcome to Hype Club. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. So this is season 2, episode 2, and the first time I've actually got 2 people. It's always just one person. So
Is
you're
that
the
actually?
Yeah. And we're recording this in video, so we'll go on YouTube this one. Exciting.
Season 2.
Season 2,
So how many podcasts did you have in season 1?
17.
So how come we're only on now? Season
Because you
2.
are so busy all the time.
Don't let him ask questions, Gemma. Come on, you ask the questions.
Right, okay. So let's just take it back to the start. Obviously there's both of you, so we're going to need to do one each at this point. So what's your story to get to where you are now? You're both co-owners of Strength and Movement, which is a unique, not a gym, what are we calling it?
Studio.
Unique studio?
Health,
Fitness
wellbeing and
studio?
fitness
Health,
studio.
yeah.
Mhm.
And there's so much more to it than just lifting things and putting them down again. There's a lot more to it for your business than other businesses.
I'm going to say something unexpected. I'll let Shaun go first, because if I start, it'll be way too long.
We're only here
That's
an
a
hour.
journey we need another 3 hours for.
Right, you go first, Shaun. So what's
What's our
your story to
what's our
get to where
story?
you are now? Not all the way back to when you were away. Don't need to go that far.
No, I wasn't planning on that. Well, we met, didn't we, in a commercial gym. When was that? 6, 7, 8 years ago?
2018.
2018. And I thought he was a wanker. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, wow, deep. We just started.
But no, we met in a commercial gym, and we weren't that close, you know. No then. But then lockdown happened. We both left the gym shut, and he messaged me out the blue, kind of wanting to work. I'd opened a wee small unit, and he messaged me out the blue wanting to come down and train his clients out there.
So when you started, would you call yourself a PT at the time?
Oh, definitely.
Back then.
Aye.
So when you were a PT, you worked in a commercial gym. You didn't have like your own sort of space back then.
No, I was in a gym for 6, 7 years, just doing one-to-one training. And then lockdown kind of forced me to open my own place,
I
basically.
think it's funny that because do you think you would have actually done that if lockdown hadn't happened?
100% no.
No.
I'm so thankful for lockdown. See, I look back, because I know I wouldn't have. I was just stuck in a wee bubble, comfort bubble.
Not
Aye.
pushing out your zone.
Exactly, aye. So it kind of almost forced me to do that, and that's where I met him.
Yeah.
So for the second time, unfortunately.
How life's paths cross, eh?
Aye.
And then
Oh
how
my
did
Lord.
Strength and Movement all come about from you meeting in the commercial gym to then him getting back in touch with you?
It was just an idea, wasn't it? It was partially my idea and partially your idea. Aye. I started doing like small group training,
Mm-hmm.
and it was specific times, and then we had a kind of idea of doing something online, wasn't it?
Mm.
And it kind of developed from there, and he found the place, to be fair to him, which was brilliant. Actually, we found a place in the town, didn't we, at first?
Oh, really?
He did, and we went to see it, and we were set on it, and thankfully that never happened. Thankfully, kind of it fell apart at the last minute.
Why,
then-
thankfully? It's not a good place.
I
Or you
think now looking back that I don't really want to be in Newton. Newton's a bit, it's not great at the moment. And you found the place up at Uddingston, and we went for there.
Yeah, and it's been open, 6 months now? Yeah.
7, aye.
7 months.
7.
It's brilliant. It's small group training, which is, I think, it's evolved, like PT and the fitness industry has evolved into this, and what you're offering is very unique and special. It's not, but there's a lot more popping up now. Like I know one recently that I've seen close by to me's popped up, which is small group training. There's another one that's popped up, small group training, where you have kind of started that sort of journey for that kind of area of fitness. Yeah, it's like a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we started it in a sense for ourselves. Didn't come up with the idea of small group training.
Yeah.
It's been prevalent for quite a few years. But that part of the philosophy was kind of well founded. So getting back to how, you know, Shaun and I kind of knew each other. This was when I first met Shaun. This was the start of my health and fitness personal training journey. But it was by no means let's just wait and see what happens. I had a fairly fixed plan in my head of how I wanted things to go, and that took probably about a year or so to kind of come to fruition through searching how do you become a PT, what do you do, what's the business models, what are the opportunities, a kind of a SWOT analysis of the landscape, the sector. Passed my PT course, took a 5-week intensive course. That was really good. Met a couple of really, really cool guys who both of them, there's only 3 of us on the course, and both of them have their own gyms now, their own spaces. One of them's a specialist in martial arts and one's another through in Edinburgh. And I knew I didn't want to be a PT on the gym floor for a long time. I don't have a long time. I'm pushing 60 very shortly.
Getting on a bit, innit?
I don't have a ginger beard anymore.
So you've actually been a PT longer than Stephen has?
Yeah,
I know.
much more.
Hard to
Right,
believe.
okay, but I didn't know that.
So my journey was basically marketing, but heavily into sports. Lots,
Right.
And I've been fortunate enough to be around quite a lot of let's just call them elite athletes since the age of 15, which wasn't yesterday. And through that journey, it's always been about. I've never really went into a gym. I didn't really go into a gym. Fast forward 30 years, 40 years probably more like, and I find myself in this kind of existential crisis. What do I do in my life? What's going on? Where am I going? What am I doing? You know, a real kind of collapse, an internal collapse. And it was a friend of mine who said, you should be a PT. Why? Oh, because you've got this energy that you've always been into sport, you've done this and that. So I looked at it and I thought, actually, it's not a bad idea. I didn't know I'd meet him, right? And I thought it was a good idea. So I did the course, set my plan out and started to execute the plan. And like Shaun, lockdown just changed everything. And whilst there were, I think at last count, there was 375 billion PTs on YouTube alone. You think to yourself, why would, who needs, obviously I'm being facetious, who needs an online PT? I just didn't buy into it. It's not really me. I need to be in front of people and dealing with people and that sort of stuff. And just after lockdown, Shaun had put together this new wee place. And during lockdown, I had done a couple of wee different things, and I'd written a wee book and Move Reward Principle. I'd come up with these ideas and stuff like that. But I still knew I wanted to have my own place in time. Shaun had put his wee thing together, and you say to yourself, why did I choose Shaun? Why did I choose Shaun? Right? Why did I choose Shaun to be a business partner with? I'd looked at him very carefully, very closely amongst the other PTs that I'd known in there.
Sounds a bit
and
weird,
looked
doesn't it?
Aye.
You don't know how I swing. And looked at
I've got my
We're
suspicions.
going to just take a dip already.
looking at coaching abilities and how you do it, and who can
sounds
I
better.
connect with, right?
Yeah.
Then I left to go to Everlast, which was just along the road. Lockdown happened, lots of stuff. Shaun opens his wee place up. At this time I've got a full business plan put together. I've written a wee book and now use it as a lead magnet. And Shaun had opened up in his new wee place, and I thought I quite like the idea of that wee space. Approached Shaun, was like, yeah, absolutely no problem. And at the beginning I'd said to him, look, this isn't going to be the be all and end all. I'm looking to eventually get my own space.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, right, okay, knock yourself out. And then I had found this, probably about a year later, I'd found that space up at Maitland Street in the centre of town.
Which was magic, by the way.
Which was just
It
an
was.
epic space.
Was that?
An epic space. And it would have been just tremendous. But it was way too expensive for us. Way too expensive. We thought we had a couple of investors lined up, and the last minute the whole lockdown thing happens, and lots of VC companies that are overextended in other businesses, and they're having to basically keep filling the holes that those businesses have created. So looking at that, we thought, what are the options? We can take that, move forward with it, or look at something else. So I actually liked the space. I liked the space. I said to Shaun, I found a space, and he was like, oh, right, okay. And I'm like, are you interested in that, or is that just quite interesting? And he says, no, I'm interested. So that was really the beginning of the potential of developing strength and movement. And we threw about ideas and the names and all that stuff. But we were, I mean, right off the bat, we were absolutely together on the philosophy of what we should do.
Yeah.
There was no question about that. And his coaching skills are extremely good. He's a very, very, very capable coach.
That's nice.
You want to write that down, Jim? That's the only nice thing you said about me.
That's the only nice thing I say about you either. Apparently you're not a bad father either. Which is good.
Because the name that you just touched on there, strength and movement, like swapping it over, strength and movement, you've both got sort of two different, from knowing you both, you've got two sort of different techniques of coaching which come together is sort of how the business is developed and how you operate essentially. So talk me through the sort of differences with both your coaching in terms of that.
I'll probably give you the short version, and then Stephen will give you the long version.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Look, mine just came from mostly, I suppose, maybe not a bodybuilding style, but strength style, just getting people stronger, looking better, all the kind of usual stuff. But I'm a pure stickler for good form.
Yeah.
I love it. And
I think that's important. I don't think you should just love it, like, because if you don't have good form, like, you'd get injured.
I know, but you'd be surprised how many people just let their clients just
really?
Just do what you want, man.
Oh, you've no idea.
Aye, it's bad. Aye.
Slack. Oh.
It's few and far between PTs where I'm like, aye, they're good.
Really?
Oh, so bad.
But you think if you're trained, you should know that? Know what I mean?
Well, you would think that, Gemma, wouldn't you?
Aye.
But anyway, so although Stephen's style's fucking very different from mine, he's very particular on form, and I think that's why we work well together.
So the strength side for you is like the big lifts, like all that sort of thing.
Lifts,
That's
bench, deadlift, squat.
Yeah. So like
all the
sort
basics.
of the standard,
Sorry,
I suppose you would say. But then the movement side is completely different. I suppose
So
it's
different.
movement, but like
I think there's a wee bit that interlinks. Like we both do a lot of single leg training, and I think you do that, I do that, which kind of interlinks. But the base of our both our trainings is quite different, and it's different to MD any other gym that I know.
yeah. Well, that's it, because like I said, both of them sort of intertwining together is what makes your philosophy what it is, because you need both sides.
Look, you can't divorce strength from health. Someone who's not strong, someone who's weak is not healthy. Yeah, you can't divorce movement from health. If someone's not able to move, they're not going to be healthy. They're going to be weak. So those two things, you cannot divorce them from health at all, right? So we looked at that and we thought, well, most of the stuff that I do is movement based. And because I'd never really spent a lot of time in the gym, that's where my philosophy comes from. I consider myself to be in half decent shape. I can move quite well. I've got a lot of experience. I've now, at that time, I'd now passed this qualification. I've got a bit of coaching experience outside of personal training. I've got a lot of business experience outside of personal training. And I thought I can bring all that to this. But when we talked about how can we find the link, the bridge between what Shaun does and what I do, we realised actually there isn't a bridge because they're inherently connected. Because to be able to move properly, you have to have an element of strength. Not, Thor Bjornsson strength, if you know who he is, strongest man in the world, Eddie Hall, not that kind of strength, just the ability to be able to have a good kinetic quotient. So we talk about intelligence quotient, IQ, KQ or kinetic quotient, the ability to understand where you're moving. Proprioception is the connection between your mind and your body. Do you know where you are in space at any given time? So it became obvious that there was an inherent link between strength and movement. And we just decided that we were going to play with those two elements and see what we could do with it. Fair. And the more we did the research, the more we realised that add in the other things that we do, the education seminars, which is based on the principle that most people who come into a gym environment have got no idea what they're doing. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that all of our members keep coming back.
Yeah.
They keep coming back. They keep coming.
What was that stat you told me before about people who sign up to gym? How many times do they go?
Don't.
Shaun will be able to tell you he's heard it that often.
Then you owe me.
The average number of gym visits per annual contract is 7. So you've got 365 days to go to the gym, sometimes twice a day. So that you could take that, there's potentially 700 opportunities to go to the gym. 700, where the average number of gym visits is 7 for an annual contract. But that's how the commercial gyms exist and persist, because they sign you up, hey, there's a gym, and you get no idea what you're doing. And you last, literally, the average is 7 times in a year. Now, bear in mind that there were people that we used to know in DW, there were certainly a couple of guys and girls in Everlast who'd go twice a day, 5-6 times a week.
You've definitely got to have that in you though, to like, 'cause I think signing up to something like you've got to go into a PT or something, you've got a specific time and you know to go, whereas when it's the gym, it's a free for all. So it's like whenever I've got time I'll go, and then all of a sudden you don't have time and you're busy. And I think that's why having those set classes and set times and in the community, I suppose, that I'm going to touch on in a minute, is what also sort of drives your business, because going to JD gym or Pure Gym or whatever, it's not like that. You're going in to exercise and leave, whereas when you're coming to something that you've built, it's more of like a family, you would say, and you do so many other things like your cold water dips and stuff like that. Yeah, well,
Aye.
Just wait to see who's going to answer.
I'm
giving you the opportunity. Maybe not.
I think it's about it's not letting somebody down as well, isn't it? So if you've booked into a session, you don't want to let people down. Number one, obviously your coach, but number two, there'll be other people that are expecting you to be there.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing.
One of our members actually said, so they have a couple membership where they've got a long-term relationship. They've got a wee boy together, and a fabulous couple. And he's a former client of mine as a personal trainer. And he got the couples membership because he said, I wanted my wife, it's not like that, it's his partner, it's not his wife. He says, I wanted her to find a connection.
Yeah.
He says, I've played in teams all my life, and she's not. I wanted her to have that experience.
Oh, that's so
and
nice.
This is where I think she can get that.
I think
and it's
she
absolutely
moved up,
the case. They take part in everything that we do.
She moved up for England, so she's no go like a close pal's not out here, which was.
Oh really? So like, so they met like.
Actually, it's a real story. Actually, they met on holiday. It's a holiday romance.
Oh my god! Did she moved all the way up?
She's from Barnsley. She's from Barnsley. She's got a Yorkshire accent. She's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. And they met on holiday, and he went and see pictures of them together on that holiday. He looks like he's 4.
What do you mean?
He looks like he's 4. And she's this lithe, fabulous looking girl.
He's a wee boy,
and he's like a wee laddie. Old dumbstruck. But they've got a great relationship, great connection together, and they train together sometimes, and they bring their wee fella in to the studio, who now understands that there are certain things that are going on in the studio that he can't really get close to because it's big heavy weights, and we've got to be very careful of that, obviously. But we accommodate that. We wouldn't accommodate that generally. It's not a thing you bring your child along. It's not that.
No.
But we will accommodate things. People will accommodate people who are part of the community.
Absolutely, and building that. And that's so nice that, like, you're saying that he's brought her to, like, you know, have that sort of level of community, but you can help bring that. Like, that's down to you guys by doing all the things you do. And
I think since she's been, she might tell me differently, but I think since she's made pals.
That's nice.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not just her and Sammy coming. Oh, I've grassed them in.
Looking green glass beep. I think they'll probably notice them.
Of course they will. But it's not just them coming. Do you know what I mean? So she knows she's meeting up with other people when she's coming to dips and all that as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're brilliant.
So you've got like the gym, which is the fitness, but the community thing, you do all the other bits, and then you touched on like your sort of what would they be called? The reward principle nights.
Move reward principle.
Reward, the seminars, like education. So that's something else that you offer as part of your business, is the education side of things, because I think a lot of the time like I've signed up to a gym. Remember last time I said I hadn't signed up yet? I have, and I've been going. And like even going in, everybody's on the treadmills because they're like, don't know what I'm doing. Everybody's on the treadmills, like, and then there's me in the corner where there's only 2 racks in this gym, which is mental. And here I am, like, going for it on my own, pure. But because I've got the education, the level of knowledge by going to somebody else to be able to do that, whereas so many people don't. So like coming in somewhere with you would learn all that as well.
I think that's the goal, isn't it? The goal is to teach people so that they could do it themselves if they wanted to. Hopefully they stay.
Hopefully stay with you, like, you don't want to get us to leave.
No, I know, but hopefully they come for the knowledge in it and they stay for the community. That's what we want.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that's the education pieces, and that one you had recently with the nutrition was really interesting.
Well, the feedback was fantastic. The
was it
feedback
good?
we got from people who were there was just tremendous, and it's an added value, right? So, for instance, the presenter was a guy called Professor Justin Roberts, PhD, to give him his full title. And I've been fortunate enough to know him for quite some time. I met him through the extreme and ultra adventure running in fraternity. And he listened to what we had to say without saying much. I can't believe that.
I know, I wondered if he was there, like...
No, it was away making a cup of tea.
I know, was it because he never said it? I thought, was he even listening?
He was very quiet. I mean, he's very typical academic, listens very intently. And you probably noticed every time he was asked a question, he would pause and he would say, good question, and then go into it. We get great feedback from that. No cost. At the point of service, there's no cost to the members. It's added value to the members. Because I've known Justin for a long time, it didn't cost us anything other than a wee package that we sent down to him to say thanks. But we would like in time to get people like him into the studio and say, it would cost us. We'd have to fly him up. We'd have to put him up in accommodation. We'd have to probably weigh him in a little bit for that kind of effort, that kind of the time that it would take for him to do that for one little seminar. But that's the kind of value we want to bring to people, because giving that back. We all know in business, right? What's the cost of a new client? What's your cost of new client acquisition, right? Cost of acquisition for a new client is X, right? But the cost of retaining a member or retaining a client is much, much less. So we see that as being not just part of our marketing, we see it as part of our customer retention, customer value, added value. It's not just by, well, this is a good idea, let's do it. It's okay, this is an idea. How does it affect the business? How will it affect and how will it increase the likelihood of our members staying? How will that affect the decision-making process of our potential prospective members to say, yeah, this is the kind of environment we want to be in? And it's all that stay, come back, stay, come back, stay, come back.
I also think it's good value for our members because, like I said, you don't really get that anywhere else. No. And like I said, we're going to do more and more and more of that, different topics, different people. And the knowledge they'll get for that is second to none. Because obviously we know a bit about nutrition, but we don't know as much as
Professor.
As the big man, aye. He knows his stuff, so...
Because when you were saying your bit, and you were like, oh, I hope he doesn't like scold me for this, what I'm saying.
No, he was very nice, probably too nice.
It's probably he's a talking shite.
In his head he's going like that, couple of rockets. But actually, yeah, no, I don't have anything to say what you guys said.
Probably still misses in the background.
I know, exactly.
Two wankers.
But it was good because there's a couple of members had very specific questions, and they were enlightened by that. They were really enlightened by that, which is really, really, that's enormous value for them as well.
No, 100%.
But going in, the next one we're doing on sleep and hydration, and it's finding the right person. If we need someone else to kind of lift it up a little bit, we've got ideas of doing one on goals and discipline or motivation and stuff like that, and we've got a wee idea about who to bring in for that, which would be epic. This was a guy who was voted in 1997 as the best motivational speaker in the world by his peers at the International Communications Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. Actually, it wasn't. It was Reno, Nevada.
Did he take a breath there?
No.
Play it back. I won't tell you his name. It's a bit of a surprise. But just a guy who's worked with some of the best performing athletes in the world, some of the biggest companies in the world. He's got just unbelievable experience. A tremendous guy. So it's having that network of people to bring in that just offers unbelievable amounts of value to our members.
Yeah, like I said, without a doubt, the education side is absolutely critical. And even like I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and in one of the groups, it's the Glasgow Girls group, and there's hundreds of girls in it all over Glasgow, and all the ones about the gym started with, I feel intimidated, I'm not confident, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's just like the biggest hurdle, I think, for any gym. And you can't get that in a commercial gym. You can't get the support when you go in. And like the only reason I've signed up to a commercial gym is because I'm aware and I know. And if I get to a point when I'm like, oh, I'm struggling, then I would go back to a small group or a PT, because you're not going to develop or improve if you don't know what you're doing. Like going to run in the gym is pointless.
You've just proved it is lack of knowledge. Because now you're comfortable and you know what you're doing, you know you've got a plan, you're going to do it.
Honestly, I'm how
I think you've got a plan anyway.
No, sort of. I'm in with my wee notepad, and you can see all the guys looking at me like, what's she doing? I've got my wee notepad, my pen, like writing down. I'm like, look at me with my big heavy rack. Although I'm too scared to go too heavy because there's nobody to spot me in case I break my neck. Like, so.
Yeah, just increase your reps and your sets.
Okay, I'll increase my reps. That's a good shout.
So it's because it's all about intensity over loading. So if the loading is lower, the weight's lower, just increase the reps to increase the intensity.
Right, okay. And what would you say to somebody that's listening to this, that's wanting to go down the route of like the strength, I suppose, side, if we're talking about like the compounds and things like that? Would you say go and get somebody, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to injure yourself?
100%.
Yeah.
At least for a wee bit. Just to make sure your technique's perfect. Once your technique's perfect, you can...
Form. Kind of bad form.
Exactly, form pose. Once your technique's perfect, then you can do what you know what you want, but less chance of injury. And then you can fly.
When I was in, there was like actual 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds after school, and I thought, what are they doing? And they were like using all the big heavy stuff, and there was nobody watching them. And I think, this is dodge. Like, you could get seriously injured, and you're a child, you're still growing.
Can you go in the gym when you're 12?
I swear to God, they were at least 12.
What gym you in?
Barhead Foundry.
Are you? I thought you had to be 16.
No way were they 16. No way.
It's interesting you talk about that, because we've one of them we were discussing today. We've got 2 initiatives, right? I've already forgotten what the second one was.
Right, good start.
We came up with a wee idea for people that are really intimidated in the gym. Now, the intimidation factor is again part of our philosophy. You won't get intimidated. There's no grunters, there's no posers, all that sort of stuff, right? So if you're still feeling really out of sorts, let us know. Then we'll put together a bodyweight plan that you can enact, or you can put together in the house. Carry it out 2 to 3 times a week on your own. Get yourself to a level. If you're still not that confident, we'll give you another wee plan. But all stuff, household goods, and you do that 2 or 3 times a week for maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks. And once you're feeling confident, come in and we'll have a talk about how you can do this, right? There must be thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people out there that would hit. The second one is, touching on your point, is at no cost at the point of service to bring youths in, 14 to 16, 14 to 17-year-olds, who are at that point in their life where they want to get a little bit stronger and move a little bit better, and coach them properly. As Shaun said, get yourself a coach, understand the dangers of bad lifting, of bad technique, of bad form, what can happen to you. But the opposite side of that is understand the benefits of how good form and good technique, and being able to understand what you're doing, what a difference that makes. Because did you ever coach when you were 14?
No, I was actually just thinking that. I was thinking, what was I doing when I was 15, 16? And I can tell you what I was doing. I'll tell you.
Go for it.
I used to go to Glasgow club at Belhouston. You been in, no?
No, I've never been in there, no.
No, and it's like, so there used to be, right, there used to be 4 machines down the back, but like hidden in a corner. So obviously I had a wee bit of gym intimidation as well. And it used to be a leg curl, a leg extension, a bicep curl, and
That's when you're going to start slagging them.
a tricep push down, right? So there's a 4 of them. I used to go up and down the 4 of them.
Just sing it.
Just
up and down them, just to like 6 of 10, 6 of 10, 6 of 10, up and down. And I'd go. That was it, done. And see, looking back, like, that's fucking ridiculous. But that's what I used to do. generally, and then I worked up enough courage to go in. I was like, I'm going to do like the fly machine.
No way.
So that was my next thing, and then the day flies, aye. But seriously, like 15, 16, that's what I was doing it, and I was doing it like, I don't even know what I was doing it for, just to get bigger. A wee bit for football as well, but
I think that's probably what like. I mean, I'm not a 15-year-old boy, but in the mindset of a 15-year-old boy, you're young, like you're really far deep into puberty. Like there's girls you're wanting to like fire into. Like all these wee boys were lifting pure heavy weights, and I'm like, you just want to like get big. You want to have a six pack. That's what you want, and you think that's how you're going to get a six pack because you don't have any education. Like, and we were talking about it before. With somebody else I was talking to about going into like schools and something like that. I don't know who it was I was talking to. Going into like schools to sort of educate in that level, because that's not something that kids learn. You go to PE and you
don't learn
play
those
basketball.
fundamentals,
Like
I think in PE they did actually teach us it.
Oh, did they?
But it was like same thing again, like extension, chest press. Never taught you anything. They just taught you how to like put the cable in the machine. That's your sound.
Go for it.
Aye.
You know, actually know the behind the scenes of, right, you're not going to get a six pack if you lift 220s up and down again.
Aye.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah, they can't.
Yeah, and then I was shaking about like injured, and then the whole thing of like the nutrition side of things, which obviously it's not like your full forte, but you have an understanding of like the protein element and all of that, where the young boys and lassies don't know that at all.
No idea.
No
idea. And the education that they get in the home, is so far off the mark as well. The nutrition thing is deeply complex when you get right into it. It's deeply complex, but you can simplify it in a way. But then the data and the research changes all the time. It's just always changing, because there's so much money in research for the big food companies. So there's so much research goes into it, but it's complicated, and I kind of stand away from it. I don't really know anything about that. That's not my forte.
Yeah,
I know myself what I want to eat and how much you can eat. Shaun's very good in that, in a sense that he can articulate very clearly and quite cleverly how simple it can be. Because bear in mind that we're not training, apologies to all of our members, we're not training elite athletes, right? We're not training elite athletes, okay? So we don't have to periodise their nutrition to be able to peak 3 times a week or twice a week for a game or once every 4 years. I mean, how difficult must that be to peak once every 4 years at Olympic Games, something like that?
It's fairly simple nutrition stuff, isn't it?
For us, it's for our members, it's kind of level 1 nutrition, in a sense that you know, in and out, what goes in, what goes out. That's kind of it. But getting them to understand the dynamics of that. Yeah,
but the sort of basic level of education, I suppose, what everybody should have, and not necessarily the athlete levels, but like for your members, for like at the home, kids, all of that, like there should be, without a doubt, a basic level, and you don't learn that in school.
Well, no. Something as simple as, what do you have for breakfast?
Me?
What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had Weetabix with a banana.
Okay. Horrific.
What? I thought that was quite healthy.
Did you not listen to Justin last week, no?
No.
That's what he said. He said have protein for your breakfast.
I'm not having a bit of chicken for my breakfast.
Oh, eggs, black pudding, sausage rolls.
Who's got time to make eggs in the morning?
Cut that out, sausage rolls. Go to Greg's for your breakfast in the morning.
Do you know what James gets a sausage roll every day for his breakfast at Greg's before he goes into work? Because that's only he eats before he's 15 or
Honestly, horrible.
I don't even like a sausage roll. Protein, it's quite controversial, isn't it?
Protein first before anything. And by the way, see all the extruded cereals, Kellogg's, Weetabix, Frosties, even these wee curly brand things that you used to get that were actually quite tasty. I thought they were okay, but they're garbage. It's all garbage. And not only that, it's laced with glyphosate, which is a pesticide, herbicide, just sprayed on all the crops that you probably ever eat, unless it's organic. So some of those lessons that we talked about with Professor Justin Roberts there, PhD, were really enlightening, in the sense that, you know, we think we know what we're eating. But so for instance, if you take sugar, refined sugar, and you go to the supermarket and you look at the shelves and you say, okay, any product that's got refined sugar in it, we're going to clear it from the shelves. Right? That's 85% of the products in every supermarket. all you'd be left with is the fresh fruit and veg, the fish counter, and the meat counter. It's pretty much all it would be. And then maybe some crisps.
You've ruined all day, Stephen.
I know, like I
Everything
eat
else.
every day thinking, oh, this is a great start to my day. Like,
No.
I'm not eating toast. I'm going for it with my Weetabix, my
Yes.
fibre.
No toast, no Weetabix, no Kellogg's, no cereals,
Just
no granola.
just eggs.
Just eggs, bacon, sausage, black pudding, bit of
The
chicken,
bacon's like fatty.
liver. Liver's good.
Liver?
Liver's
Should I
fat.
feed the dog?
Liver tastes like shit.
So on that point, right? So this is. Listen to this. If you take a list of foods, okay, and you rank them in their nutritional bioavailability, right? So what can you absorb, right? Let's take something like, I think it's vitamin A. I might stand corrected on that, but I'm paraphrasing now, right? You take a carrot, in fact, I think it's vitamin C, right? You take a carrot to get the daily recommended amount of vitamin C from a carrot, you'd have to eat something like 600 grams of carrot, right? That's 6 kilos of carrots to get the daily recommended amount of vitamin C, okay? To get the same amount of vitamin C from liver, right? Liver from a ruminant animal. Animal?
You were on a roll
Right.
there.
The same vitamin C from a ruminant animal, the liver, 1 gram. A single gram gives you your whole daily recommended amount of several nutrients.
That could just be like a shot of liver, because that's just 1 gram. You could easily like.
Is there no a thing like that? No.
No.
A liver shop.
This will be opportunity for anyone out there who wants to get into nutrition.
Open a liver shop.
Liver shops.
Nasty.
Liver shop.
By the way, I tried liver. I tried no your liver, but something.
I eat it all
One
the
liver
time.
that you bought.
I eat it all the time.
It's shit, by the way.
Oh.
It's shit. I'm not having that.
It's
I'm
fantastic.
not saying that there's no
does
unbelievable
it
for you,
taste
I
but
think
like?
you see one of the problems with people's food choices right now is that we're too preoccupied with what tastes good, because what tastes good to us is loaded with sugar, and it's loaded with other additives, right? Preservatives, all that sort of stuff, and it's there because of every food company. That's not true. 5 massive organisations dictate and own 80% of a food production globally. 5 companies, right?
Really?
Yeah, so things like Kraft and, you know, all these Kellogg's, and they're all owned by venture capital companies and all that sort of stuff, right? 80% of your food is produced by 5 companies. When you'd filter it all down, right? Follow the money. Most of it is refined sugars and refined processed wheat and grain, okay? Now, as a human being, as an entity, we only started consuming grains, refined grains, processed grains 10,000 years ago. We've been around for 2 million years, 200,000 years, depending on who you talk to. So we've not really evolved to be able to digest them properly. Okay, people talk about fibre. The only thing about fibre is it stays in your body a little bit longer, and it allows your system a little bit more time to bring out the nutrients. Right, that's all fibre does. It's not some magical compound. So what these companies do is they tap into those physiological and biological elements in you that crave things. Okay, so we still have this mechanism in our brain that says to you, when you can get sugar, natural sugars, fruits, so fructose, okay, natural sugars from fruits, or honey, we've got this mechanism in our brain that tells us to gorge on it, because for all this evolutionary process we've gone through, that tells you that get as much as you can of this now, because you don't know when the next feeding's going to be. So get as much of it as you can now. The problem is that we don't have to hunt or gather now. We just nip round to the wee shop in the corner and buy a 400 gram slab of dairy milk.
Yeah, absolutely, we do.
Right.
Just eat.
And we just
Just eat,
bottom
yeah.
it. And it's just, we don't even need to go out our door
No.
to get food in now, right? 5 Domino's pizzas. There's like 3 million calories already.
Oh,
Right?
Stephen.
By the way, we had
Listen,
a conversation about Domino's this
I think
morning.
Domino's has not got any calories and it's calorie free.
In Gemma's world.
Hey, what we talking
Welcome.
about today?
But he was saying Domino's wasn't very good, right? And I was disagreeing, of course. Barbecue base, by the way.
Barbecue base.
Aye.
What's it,
Don't we?
Texas one?
Aye, Texas barbecue.
Texas
Aye.
barbecue.
Oh, dear.
But that gets
Good.
back. So I'm going to be the protagonist here. That gets back to the point I was making, that we're too worried about how things taste, opposed to what does it do for you.
I think, yeah, I agree with you to a certain degree. I'm just kind of playing me. But I do think a barbecue base is the best pizza out there. Just saying that as well. But do you know what, Domino's is the only thing, right? It's one of the only things I tell my clients not to eat, or not to eat very often.
Well, it's really bad for you. The calories are
it's
crazy.
like 3,000 calories in a pizza.
Is it
And I'm
3,000
something
calories?
like that. I don't know exactly, but and I'm taking that down. At least one of them.
Oh yeah,
Aye.
same.
I'm very much so like
Often
eat.
judged.
I'm very much like eat in moderation. Like
Mhm.
80% of your calories come from good whole foods, and then 20% whatever you want, whatever Gemma wants.
And I
But
think it's a big, massive mindset thing. And I think that's, for me, over the last few years, personally, I think I've got to a good place, apart from today where I've had about 17 biscuits, but that's fine. But like, it's a case of, for a lot of people that are like bigger, that are just like gorge or whatever, I think it's definitely a case of you have to really, really stop yourself in your head from doing that. And that's difficult to do, because like, it is a taste thing, and if you're like, oh, really craving a
But
Domino's,
it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just the taste. It's actually physiological. It's psychological, physiological. It's ingrained within you. We still have those ancient mechanisms in our brains. We still have them. And that's what the big companies tap into. They know where your cravings are, so they feed them.
Yeah.
They feed them with processed grains. They feed them with sugars. And as soon as you start that's when the problems arise.
Mhm.
Now, people just don't cook anymore. It's like, you don't need to cook. Just pick up the phone.
I know.
Job's a good one.
I know, it's a little lazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's horrific. Did you see the woman the other day? I saw a wee clip the other day with Real of a woman who opened a box, and inside the box was a packet. Inside the packet was a McDonald's. This is not an endorsement for McDonald's, because I hate the place. I think it's horrendous. It should be shut down. It was a McDonald's burger that had been bought 40 years ago.
Oh, stop it.
And there was
it'll
no
be
mould on it. Zero mould.
No.
So that tells you it's not
How
food.
do you eat that, Whitney? That's fake news.
It's absolutely
No,
bang on the
as
money.
well.
You try it, right? Buy a
What, keep it for
McDonald's.
4
Buy a
years?
McDonald's anything. Do you know that the Burbank potatoes that they use, right?
you'll not be about in 40 years for it to tell.
Listen, I'm telling you, I'll be around.
That was savage.
176 is the date I've decided, the age I've decided I'm going to die at. Right, 176. I'm manifesting it. I think it's a Mavis Burbank potato or something. That's a very specific size of potato, right? And because they want the chips, the fries, to be a certain shape out of that wee cup thing that they've got in it, right? They want it to fan out like a bouquet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to actually get those, the potatoes are sprayed with this chemical, right? And the guy, they're then left in a warehouse. You can't go into the warehouse. You're banned from going into the warehouse for up to three or 4 days, because the toxicity of the chemicals that they've been sprayed with is so high that you can't even go into that massive warehouse where the potatoes
But
are.
then we eat it.
And then you eat it. So,
But then how can you not go in, but then you can eat it?
eh?
How can you not go in when it's like, because of the
Because
smell?
because of the toxins and the chemicals have got to settle. But the thing is, they settle onto and top of the food, the potatoes. The thing about food, fruits and vegetables, is they absorb nutrients through their skin. So whatever you put on their skin, they'll absorb into it. So when you ingest that food, you're also ingesting the toxins that are in it. And these toxins are single dose, won't do much for you. But if you're regularly eating that stuff, it's gonna cause chaos. So that's why things like cancers are up, obesity's up, diabetes is up, chronic heart disease is up, and we can go on and on and on and on and on about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Shaun made a brilliant presentation last week with the Justin Roberts thing 2 weeks ago. Your nutrition is only 5% of your calories on the days that you train. People think that, if I go do a workout and I go for a run, it's me, I'm done. Doesn't work like that. That's why we're talking about that complexity of how your nutrition affects your training or your life, or how your training affects your nutrition in your life.
Yeah.
That it's really the biggest part of it's understanding your nutrition, and then understanding how important it is just to move, to breathe fresh air, community, connections, all those things that are involved in living a healthy life.
Absolutely. But just jumping back onto the strength and movement. Sorry, he's
We
gave
went
me
down a tangent
the
there, didn't we?
note of like, hurry up,
5 minutes.
wrap it up. Back onto strength and movement, your actual facility, your proper business where, you know, you've got everything going on. Just talk me through quickly, like, the ins and outs. Pitch it to somebody.
Pitch it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Benefits.
Put me in the spot.
Benefits and values, go. Hook story offer.
I honestly think the community's the best part. The community's second to none, because like you said, there are other places who do one-to-one personal training, there's other places that do group personal training, but I don't think anybody's got a community like us. It's different gravy, to be fair.
There's a couple of fundamentals on it, and that is that you never come into the studio not knowing what you're doing. You never come in and you're on your own. You're always coached. You're there with like-minded people. You're getting support from not only the coaches, but you're getting support from those you're training beside. There's so much added value to it in terms of the dips, cold dips, hill walks, education, not like really education, it's more information delivery on health, well-being, strength and movement.
And the group training sessions themselves, they are, you at the start of the week select the ones that you're going to when they are, like, it's not just certain times, exact same times every week. You can pick and choose. That's kind of how it works.
We've got at least about 7, 8, sometimes more than that sessions on a day. So it's no, when I first started it was set times, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and now we've got as many kind of as you want, really. I think you'd really struggle not to get a time that suits you, which is what we banted when we sat down and spoke at the very start. So we've kind of got that up and running.
Flexibility.
Exactly, aye, because how many people work in shifts these days? It's more and more and more.
Absolutely. Awesome. So we're at the last part of the podcast, which is what the podcast is all about. So I'd quite like you, either both of you or individually or whoever we want to work it, to hype up a small business, a charity or something, someone that deserves the spotlight, and tell me why. And you can do as many as you want.
Can we do 2?
Mm-hmm.
One each? One each will do.
I go. Can I do 2? I'll do a charity and a business.
Go for it.
Right. So my mate runs a charity, it's Sports Forever Foundation, and it's basically a kind of mental health charity, and he helps people who have had bad upbringings. It's kind of a scheme life, I suppose. And he takes them out, does cold water dips with them. He takes them out and does kind of mental health days and stuff like that. Aye. So Kieran McGregor at Sports Forever Foundation.
Sports River Foundation?
Sports Forever.
Forever.
Sorry, that's me mumbling.
That's you mumbling, I was going to say.
Aye.
Sports Forever. That's really cool. How interesting.
Aye.
Definitely be sharing them.
You want another one? My mate also runs, another one of my mates runs the Soccer Lab.
Oh, does he?
He does,
I know that.
Do you? Aye.
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 Tell me about it. Wait a minute, I know this. How do I know this? Is it out in Hillington or something?
It's Paisley, I think.
What? Tell me more.
Elite kind of coaching for young boys. So like Celtic, Rangers, Hearts and all that, they'll go to him, do one-to-one training. He also does group training as well. So
Amazing.
Soccer Lab Glasgow.
Awesome. You're up.
I'm going to give a shout out to Scotty Boy at Ink Visible Tattoo Removal.
Well, it's actually the Visible Group nowadays.
It's the Visible Group. Well, we're Sim Health Limited Incorporated. No, Scott told me about that business 5-6 years ago, and I thought to myself, that's a stonker of an idea, because the basis of the ideation was not that I'm going to be the only one doing tattoo removal. The basis of the ideation was it's going to be clinical, and he's going to have the best equipment possible, the most up-to-date best equipment possible with the right light frequencies to break down all the different colours within the tattoos that's not available anywhere else in the country. And he's done it, and he's flying, and he's finding that the level of tattoo regret is much greater than he even considered, and the results he's getting are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So the big shout out to Scott for not just for his need for new clients on a regular basis, but for the idea and having the cojones to pull it all together, because it was a big risk.
To be the best in the business, and I suppose that's what you guys are doing.
Trying to be.
Trying to be the greatest of all time.
Trying to have a point of point of difference.
Start that argument. We're here till 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, on that, we are actually the best of all time. Greatest of all time, the goats of of communities.
Group training.
Yeah.
Aye.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Smashed
And
up.
a wee shout out to a girl called Gemma Payton.
Oh,
She runs a
enough,
magic
enough.
wee... Hey, enough? All right, okay. No. But if you're thinking about employing a content manager, creator, then Gemma's a girl.
Mm.
Oh, thanks, Stephen. That's nice of you.
It's all right.
I find it awkward. People do that a lot. They'll say me and I'll go on, guys.
Did
So
they?
I'm promoting other people here, no me, but thanks
That
so
sounded
much.
cheeky, didn't it? Did it, aye?
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been so fab to chat to you. There's so much I learned.
Thank you very much.
Didn't realise that you're not
Pleasure.
that long in the game, but you're smashing it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So much. And if everybody wants to follow Strength and Movement on Instagram, I'll tag them. And if you're in Uddingston, I should probably talk to Cam. I forget this is getting videoed, this one. If you're wanting to sign up to a gym in Uddingston, these are your guys. So go for it.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Gemma.
Gemma.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Bye.
Wrapping it
See you
up.
later.
Adios.
Yo.